44-24, the final score in Week 8 of the NFL season. The Denver Broncos outlast the Dallas Cowboys and outmuscle the Cowboys in another win up in the Mile High City. The Cowboys looked gassed early. I'm not sure if it was the elevation or it was the talent level. Either way, the Cowboys did not look good in this one. Welcome in to the Globe Life Studios alongside Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. And some days, you just don't play a good brand of football. Other days, you play a team that's better than you. And then there are other days where you beat yourself with penalties and mistakes and certain things. I think all three of those could be true for this one for the Cowboys. They played a better team. They didn't have a good day themselves. And they hurt themselves with penalties early on. Barry, your thoughts after the loss?
Yeah, this was what they call it, a good old-fashioned butt kicking. I mean, that's as simple as you can call it on this one right now. I mean, for me, they got outplayed in all three phases, and they got outcoached as well. I mean, this was the first game plan I've seen from a defense all season long that kind of looked like it had Dak Prescott confused out there. Normally this is a guy that's cool, calm, and collected throughout the entire ball game. Usually puts the ball in the right situations, gives people opportunities to make plays out there. But for whatever reason, whether it was a pass rush, disguise, Denver had him confused out there. 2 interceptions, very unlikely of Dak Prescott out there this afternoon. And he just seemed like he didn't have a hold on the football game. And kudos to Denver's defense because they were the guys out there doing the job. Now, defensively, for the Dallas Cowboys, this was an even worse butt kicking. I mean, some of those lanes that J.K. Dobbins and what's the rookie's name? Harvey?
R.J. Harvey, number 12.
Was able to run through. I mean, I could go out there and get 50 yards in the ground against those boys. So to me, it was a tough loss for the Dallas Cowboys. But when you can't do the basic things defensively, you're going to lose games. If you were with us in this pregame show, you would see what Nate was talking about. You got to be able to tackle. And in this situation, the tackling was horrendous out there for the Dallas Cowboys, and it showed in the final score.
As my boy Barry said, this is an old-fashioned beatdown. That's all it is. You can go back and watch the film and correct everything that you possibly can. From the offensive perspective, you mentioned Dak Prescott. If you watched the pregame show, I expressed my concern about the pressure that Dak was going to be under, knowing that these guys could stay in the hip pocket of the receivers. This is the best defense that you face all year long, and you see the result of that. So you have a lot of things that you have to go back and correct. Pre-snap penalties, blocking, ability to create separation. Quarterback, got happy feet today for a good reason. So offense was not good. Oh, and then the rushing game was non-existent. Defensively, I don't know. I feel bad for Coach Eberflus. There's seemingly not much else that he can do to put these guys in a position to be successful. At the end of the day, he can call whatever play is out there. He can't play for these guys. So he can't run fit. He can't tackle. He can't be willing to tackle. He can't go out there and help guys hit the right lanes. He can't go out there and cover guys. He can't do any of those things. But guess what? No matter whether it's Eberflus or somebody else calling those plays, those guys still have to go out there and handle their assignments. Didn't do so tonight.
I said it before the game that you had to tackle well. You had to stop the run. They gained 179 yards. I think they had a clip of 6.4, 26 carries. J.K. Dobbins, 111 yards. R.J. Harvey, 46 yards, and not just counting what other guys put in. It just wasn't right. I mean, until we learn how to tackle, this is how it's going to be for our defense. When you go on the road, there's two things that most coaches ask for you to do. That's take your running game on the road and take your defense on the road. And we have not done that. We have not been successful at stopping the run and staying with the run. Like you say, they earned the right to rush the passer. We had no sacks because we didn't earn the right to rush the passer.
And that's really been part of the problem throughout the year, right? Dallas has given up pressure at different times, and the offensive line hasn't had a bad year by any stretch. They did have a bad game today, but we anticipated some struggles against the number one pass rush in the NFL statistically. But then you look at the other side, and Dallas continues to struggle to get any sort of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Bo Nix today was able to create outside of the pocket. He was comfortable in the pocket for the majority of the time, and he sat back and just allowed his wide receivers to gain separation. And that's how you saw him kind of dink and dunk and pick things off. And that doesn't even count what they did on the ground with the 179 yards.
Yeah, the pass rush is non-existent. There's no question about that. And people are going to continue to talk about times past with Mr. 11, who's no longer here. But there's other guys on this roster that have to find a way to get home. This doesn't seem to be a lot of moves in terms of guys being able to go in their bag and pull out different moves. You're seeing the same things, running down the middle of the guy's chest, standing up, trying to do stunts, stopping halfway in the middle of the stunt just to jump up and try to bat the ball down. You're just not getting pressure. And the reason why is you're putting yourself in those positions. To your point, you didn't earn the right to pass rush. If you take away the run, then guess what? It's a lot easier to defend the pass whenever they want to go do those things. You make BC's job on the back end a lot easier, but when they're able to do both, you're in no man's land. And now you're guessing literally every play.
Yeah, you can't give quarterbacks in this league that much time back there. They're going to dissect you. I mean, it's simple as that. These guys are too good in the National Football League to sit back there and pat the ball 3-4 times before they decide who they're going to throw the ball to. And it's got to be frustrating for the players, the coaches, and the fan base out there as well when you see these explosive plays happening again. I mean, it's like a roller coaster ride when you look at it. Last week, they had, they minimized all the explosives. You saw this pass rush come alive. You saw the secondary sticky. And then you come fast forward to this game, and once again, they're back to the explosive. R.J. Arvey had another 40-yard burst out there. You had Franklin, the receiver, catching a 40-yard bomb on this team. I mean, the explosives are going to get you beat week in and week out, and you can't be on this roller coaster ride and expect to go far with this team. And you got to have some type of consistency. And right now, on the defensive side of the ball, at least, there is no consistency.
Offensively, you was 4 for 11 on third downs. When you go on the road, you got to keep the chains moving. Mm-hmm. You got time of possession, but that's because at the end of the game you were losing. They had 5 for 8 at 63% on third down. They seemed to make the plays and keep the chain moving when it was to their advantage. What we have to do, and I said it last week, and I'm gonna keep repeating it, until something happens. You're gonna have to become dominant, either versus the run or the pass. You can't continue to play in between. You can't continue to let teams dictate to you. I have a firm belief, and Coach Johnson used to always tell me this: what are you going to do when you face talent that is equal or better than you? And it starts with discipline.
Let's go back to the offensive side of the football here. Dak Prescott, statistically and on the film, his worst game of the year. There were some issues on the offensive side of the ball outside of what Dak could control. The offensive line, the lack of a running attack. They tried to stick with Javonte Williams at times, but it just never really got going other than his 2 touchdowns that both came in goal line situations. But, Nate, when you looked at the offensive side of the ball, where did the problems begin for that side? We haven't seen them struggle like this really all year long.
They made plays in the red zone. They stopped us, and we got 3. We was going to get 7 most games. They were holding us to 3. And that is how you do it. When you bring a team in that's high caliber offense like we were before this game, just make them kick threes. Make them kick 3. And they made us kick threes the whole game. They made plays when it was 3rd and 1 on the goal line. They made plays. I told y'all number 93, DJ Jones, and I can't pronounce number 96 name because I don't want to disrespect the kid's name, but they made plays on the goal line. They kept you out of the middle of their defense, and that's where they're strong at.
It was exactly, again, what we talked about in the pregame show. These DBs are good.
Yeah.
DBs are good. So regardless of how great your receivers are, these guys are very competitive, well-respected, got Defensive Player of the Year last year playing on that side of the ball. They were going to be in your hip pocket. So when you have DBs that are going to be in your hip pocket of your receivers, are going to force them to make contested catches, that's one aspect. If your quarterback has time. But if your quarterback doesn't have time and these guys are in their hip pocket, it changes absolutely everything, which is why I brought that up as a potential problem. Dak was under duress. What happens when you're under duress? I can't throw the ball on my timing. What happens when you're under duress? I now have to throw the ball with somebody in my face. I can't step into it. I can't get it the way and be as accurate. And when all those things accumulate, plus somebody standing in their hip pocket, now those are no longer 50-50 balls. Those become 30-70 balls to their advantage.
And it just goes to show you the depth that Denver has in that secondary. Because the majority of the game, the former Defensive Player of the Year, the best corner, best player on their team defensively, missed. I mean, Patrick Surtain was out the majority of that game.
True that.
And those guys were still able to hold their own against the likes of a CeeDee Lamb and a George Pickens out there. So, like I said, kudos to that defense. They went out there, they executed the game plan. Dallas, you got to look at this tape, find a way to get better, and move forward.
Ferguson had no catches.
No catch, yeah.
Zero. Yeah, he was held blanked in that entire game. Not the day that the Dallas offense had in mind, and then 44 points allowed on the defensive side of the football as well. That's going to do it for us here on The First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper. We have more post-game reaction coming up with Cowboys OT and Cowboys Game Night. Check your local listings or watch on the Dallas Cowboys streaming platforms. The final stats brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's a Pepper thing. 44-24, the final score in Denver. Cowboys fall to 3-4-1 here in Week 8. Thanks for watching The First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper.